Hey everyone, this is Diamond from the Downtown with D podcast, coming to you live from Gotham Podcast Studio in the heart of New York City. And everyone, yes, this is the first episode. Very, very excited to be here. Right now, have my audio engineer Eli right next to me. Yes. So yes, people, my name is Diamond. Let me give you a little brief about myself. Late 20s, New York native. Just graduated from the army. I know you don't really hear that a lot. Also, I'm a videographer. Diamond Rivera Films. You can follow me on Instagram, Diamond Rivera Films, as well as Facebook, Diamond Rivera Films. As well, I am a performer. Most people don't understand what performing is. I'm a dancer, Latin dancer specifically. Been doing it for over 20 years. And that kind of segues into, I don't know, people have been seeing America's Got Talent, So You Think You Can Dance. You've seen the evolution of Latin dance. And what I mean by that is you've been seeing a lot more salsa routines, Latin routines. You've seen a lot more Latin influences in music, especially Spanish trap. You have the bachata music, Romeo, Prince Royce, etc. And I really want to give a big shout out today to a new movie that just premieres today, actually, called Shine, featuring Jorge Burgos and many, many, many other amazing dancers from New York City. Premieres today on select theaters. Please follow Shine, the movie, on Instagram. You can look it up on Google, elsewhere. And that right there, people, I want you to understand is that this film here really has potential to be just a blockbuster. It really shows credence, and it shows a lot of emotion. It shows the passion of dance, especially in the heart of Spanish Harlem, where I actually used to live. Now I live in Washington Heights. And I mean, growing up in New York, being exposed to music, being exposed to dance, being exposed to just overall diversity is key. And here at Downtown with D, as I like to say, when it's real, it gets real. And this podcast won't be like other podcasts just showing gossip. No, I want to give you an insight into my life, into my journeys, as well as shouting out and paying homage to a lot of up-and-coming artists, whether that be with music, whether that be with art, whether that be with clothing. And I also wanted to present that all music that you'll be hearing throughout this podcast is actually from a producer from Harlem known as Kemchi Jones. You can follow him on SoundCloud. Yes, Kemchi Jones. His music is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it's, how should I say, his music for me is timeless. The song I'm going to play, Loyalty, is truly just like a very kind of boom bap-ish, kind of just mellow beat, gets you in the mood. And from that, we're going to really get started. Our first episode today is going to be on relationships. And again, before we get started, I also want to give another shout out to St. Milan NYC Clothing Company. This company was started by a good friend, Joey, as well as Chad, the other members as well, Mikey, Edward. St. Milan, a brand based out of New York City. Really good friends of mine. I mean, these guys work extremely hard on what they do. It's a brand new company. As they say, give a brief summary on them. With St. Milan, they were formed in 2017. It basically tells a story of different people. You know, with Joey having a fashion background, I knew that he had an eye and he had the ability to create something different. And I just want to shout definitely St. Milan NYC. Please get your stuff. Check it out online. So again, this first episode today that we're going to focus on is relationships. And what I mean by relationships is understanding your worth in a relationship, whether that be a business relationship, whether that be an intimate relationship with your partner or partners. See, in many podcasts, we have people that talk about relationships, but don't give great depth. Their answers and their sentiments almost seem vague. Also, sometimes they hold back from what they really mean or really feel. I see nowadays in society, and me living in New York is known as a very brash, very in your face type of place. It's like, if, as they say, if you can make it in New York City, you can make it anywhere. But what about those who live in New York City who can't make it? I mean, it's crazy, right? It's hard to deal with sometimes. And oh yeah. See, that's the mood I'm hitting right now. So, let's talk about it, relationships. When it comes to having a partner, I really believe that people have to understand that with a partner, it's about understanding. The biggest word within a relationship is communication. Being able to communicate with your partner on all levels. Many people, October, and as they call it, the cuffing season. I believe I've heard that word spilled around many times, many conversations, many parties. And I never understood the idea of the cuffing season, because that means that you are with someone for a period of time, and then after a certain period, gotta let them go. I never understood that. But then I started to see that these people who are into this trend, they never were fully happy with themselves. And wow, it's troubling, because sometimes people want the answer but don't take the necessary steps to find a solution. You know, I think many people are scared of being happy and what it takes to be happy. Things are not given to you. You can't just assume everything is given to you. I mean, being in a relationship myself with the woman I'm with, I use our life experiences in order to help other people with theirs. You know, it's crazy because every day I see a new example of how a relationship shouldn't work instead of should work. But I use that as life lessons. Ladies, please understand, from a man myself, part of the Faithful Men's Club, there are men like us out there. There truly are. But also understand that there are dogs out there. Truly. The beauty of me is that I grew up learning to be a faithful man, learning to understand that the woman I choose, or the woman that I want to spend the rest of my life with, you have to remember, when you're in a relationship, you do not own this person. They do not own you. You guys are going on a journey together. What gets misconstrued is that a lot of relationships become possessive, become too attached. People feel, if I don't see this person for too long, there's nothing there. If I don't feel just a immediate physical attraction to this person, there's nothing there. People have to understand that relationships take time. Relationships take a toll on you mentally and physically, but it can be the greatest pleasure for you. See, many people now are scared to say, I'm in a relationship. You hear that notion of, oh, we just talking. So what is just talking? I mean, when it comes to just talking, I mean, are you just texting each other, hey, how you doing? How's this? How's this? I mean, as we get older people, we have to figure out the line between just being a friend, or is this someone that I want to build a connection with? Is this someone I want to go on a journey with? I mean, many people would come into my life, male, female, friends, acquaintances, and I learn from them. I take bits and pieces from people. You have to realize that when you are younger, in your teenage years, when you are quote unquote dating, you need to take those as lessons. Maybe you didn't have the greatest relationships when you were younger. And you have to realize is that take those as life lessons. Those are just building blocks. Those right there are just teaching you that in order to gain what you want, you're going to have to go through some obstacles. Ladies, you're not going to meet the perfect man the first time. You might meet Mr. Right now, but what about Mr. Right for forever? I mean, men, you have to realize too is that a lot of the women you are coming in contact with that hold that barrier, that hold that guard up, there is a reason for that. Men and women have to understand that before you met your partner, you have to understand the journey they went through. There are people that have been through very abusive relationships, physically, mentally, spiritually. There are people that have been broken, and when you meet them, you almost have to help build them. And that right there is a journey in itself, but are you willing to take that journey? And one resounding notion I hear people say is compromise. Compromise. When I hear the word compromise, I'm thinking to myself, does that mean I have to change everything about me to fit your lifestyle? My opinion, honestly, is no. And what I mean by that is when I am in a relationship with you, I want to learn about you. I want you to learn about me. I want you to learn my strengths, my weaknesses, my flaws, and my attributes. I want you to love me for me instead of me needing to love someone to find myself happy. People, believe it or not, being happy does not mean that you have to be with someone. But don't get me wrong, being with someone is a beautiful thing because you allow someone else to come on the journey with you of life. You know, me being in my late 20s, many people are not even thinking about even what they're going to do tomorrow. In New York City, believe it or not, there are people that don't even understand the meaning of a 5-year plan. Because some people don't even know what they're going to do 5 minutes from now. It's real. You know, when it comes to having an intimate relationship with people, you have to understand this person is the way they are. And don't get me wrong. If you want to help them become a better person within themselves, that is totally granted. But I mean, ladies, if you met a man that told you, I'm a dog, that told you, I go out, I do this, I do that, you cannot expect that man to literally just give up everything like that. Unless he wants to. And that also goes for men. You know, you can't force someone to be who you want them to be. You have to realize that it takes a balance. It takes an understanding of someone. It truly is a life experience that will last a lifetime if you want it to. You know, with relationships that are intimate come relationships that are business related. I would say too is that when it comes to business, especially monetary, I understand this is money truly is the root of all evil. If you allow it to be. You have to realize that in relationships, business relationships, when it comes to money, your best friends can become your worst enemies. Your business partners can take everything from you. You have to gauge the people you truly want to work with. Do you want to be a self-brander? Do you want to do everything yourself? Or do you want people with you? You have to understand that when you allow people to come into your circle, you have to take everything that comes with that. You can have a friend for 20 years and then the next day it can all crumble. You have to realize that in life, people will change. If you want to change, you allow yourself to change. If you want to be happy, make yourself happy. Do not allow other people to configure the piece to your puzzle of life. I know that just sounds crazy, but and what I really mean deep down is that, especially in relationships, many relationships fail because people are wondering what other people's opinions are about them. So you're allowing someone else, maybe you don't even know, and this ties into social media. Social media is one of the killers of relationships. Granted, sometimes it's worth it because especially those who are promiscuous in relationships. PSA, if you are promiscuous in a relationship, you need to not be in a relationship. Please. Just letting you know. Ladies too. The reason I can give advice like this is because one thing is this. Ladies and gentlemen, actually. I am a man whose primary friends, or most of my friends, are females. But my male friends, I have a balance of men who are faithful, but also the ones that you consider dogs. The ones you consider to be the unfaithful ones, the ones that will go out to the clubs, talk to other girls on social media, message other girls, slide in other women's DMs. You know those. I know those. I know those guys. So the beauty of it is that I was able to understand the perspective of the woman that was hurt, why she was hurt, but also understand the perspective of the men who do the hurting. That is a that is a gift to receive, because it teaches you about life. It teaches you about, having a companion, and teaches you, hey, the do's and don'ts. That's why myself, I'm a awesome partner to my lady, because we understand each other. We talk. Communication is key. You do not, I was told this once when I was young, in a relationship, you do not want to go to bed angry. You hear that song? That's like, ooh, sounds like a scary dream. Yeah, you do not want to go to bed angry. It is not fun. From past relationships, yes, it is not fun. So you have to realize is that, ladies, when it comes to these men that you are somewhat attracted to, may it be physical appearance, the looks, maybe it be the compliment he gave you when he saw you that intrigued you. Understand it takes more than just those words to really should be received for you. I mean, you have to understand that you want a man that can excite your mind, open your spirit, and just make you feel good inside. Men, you need to stop worrying about finding those women that have the bodies you dream of, the bodies you wish a woman would have, those social media bodies, the ones they take it to the side with the little bikini. Yeah. You need to find a woman that's going to love you for you instead of you trying to love someone. Because trust me, they're out there. They are out there. And you have to realize that you can't rush what's going to happen. You can't. A person my age normally figures stuff like this out in their late 30s and 40s. But I was fortunate enough to be surrounded in a world. And I mean world is in the Latin dance world. And we're going to get into that. And what I mean by the Latin dance world is that, it started at the age of 5. age of 5. And I was put into a world where I'm 5 years old around people who are 20 and 30 and 40 years old, and really taught me the game of life through an early age. You have to understand, this Latin dance world is amazing. I mean, I've been able to meet some awesome celebrities. I met Kareem Abdul-Jabbar once in LA. Came to a dance event, sat front row, and I performed and I looked at that man straight in his face. And it's the smile on his face at a young age. And think about it, a kid that's 5, 7 years old performing in LA in front of crowds of 10,000 people, that can get to you. And you do that for about a decade or 2 decades. I mean, yeah. For a little kid, almost like, you have to wonder. For me, I used to travel with people twice my age. It was almost like learning. I was on the road. I was in groups and traveling the world, city to city, state to state, different countries, performing. And that's where I learned the game of life. You have to see that little things that are given to you throughout life are life lessons and pieces that are going to help mold you into the person you want to become. I was fortunate enough. To meet some amazing people with great advice, with great knowledge. As they say, with great knowledge comes great responsibility, and that truly is a fact. Because the worst knowledge damages those who adhere to it. The worst thing you can do is give knowledge. It's not even knowledge. It's just word vomit. Sometimes people are giving you tips and tools that sometimes they've never taken. Some people have given you tips and tools to things that they wouldn't even do. Just to see, hey, what happens. But you have to realize that in order to grow, you must expose yourself. Do not hold that guard. Do not. I mean, it truly is a beautiful thing to have someone look at you and wake up to every morning just to say, I love you. And not the fact I love just this relationship, but I love you as a person. I love waking up to you. I love seeing you. I love getting that good morning text. Realize that. That right there, in terms of a relationship, oh man, it's a joy that can't compare. Just waking up, going to work and getting that good morning text. Simplicity is key. I'm dropping knowledge on you. So people, sometimes you're in relationships and you're wondering, what's wrong here? I feel like it's the little things that count. Do not be that person that does all the little things in the beginning and then get comfortable and just lose all of those attributes. Because those people who see that, they see you as a fraud sometimes. Or most of the time they will see you as a fraud because they're trying to see, why isn't this person the person I met? And you know why? It's because a lot of times that person was putting up a facade. In New York City, people do put up a facade. Trust me. The people that still smile in your face, say hello to you, and then you see them on social media, probably even putting up a meme, and maybe even talking about you. And people, you have to understand, do not allow social media to dictate who you are, dictate the person you want to be. And what I mean by that is, do not allow comments, especially those negative comments that people receive on pictures and videos and etc. Don't allow that to, create a monster within you, because trust me, it does happen. Have you seen these celebrities? Yeah. You see what happens when you can put up a simple photo and you get 1,000 negative comments. It's damaging to one's mental state. It can be. I think people have to realize is that a great solution, especially if you're that couple that loves social media, give social media a break. Social media is not going anywhere. And neither are you. You have to realize, do not allow other people to make your relationship for you. You have to make it yourself. You have to see the better in you that that person who is with you sees in you. Because that's what happens a lot. That in these relationships, people are searching for a love they couldn't obtain themselves. Somebody is in a relationship right now that doesn't even love themselves, but just needs someone else to love them. I want to give you these words. Love yourself. Because I love you. If no one else told you that, I love you. Because that is one of the biggest detriments is yourself. Do you have self-worth? Do you love yourself enough to love someone else? Because you cannot love someone else if you don't love yourself. And ladies, I see that a lot in you. Oh, don't get me wrong, fellas. I definitely see it in you. Because I am friends with some of you. But ladies, I see it so much, and it hurts because these women who are my friends, I see them trying to put up a picture of themselves that's not them. They try to cater to a certain audience, especially on, your Instagrams. Posting things that you normally wouldn't post. The infamous going to the hookah lounges with the hookah and writing all these crazy messages. And, you have to also understand too, fellas, ladies do not like it when you slide in your DMs. Do you not think that they don't have 50 other DMs that men have been sending them? Yes, I know, they tell me. Yeah, it's not appropriate. It's not really going to get you far. But don't get me wrong. Out of those 50 guys, sometimes you will find that girl who will accept it and receive it. And that right there is a problem. A lot of women have to understand is that a lot of these men who gawk at you, catcalling, as they say, in New York, how they say it, yo ma, or shorty with the hair, no. That is a bad representation of the men of New York City. Trust me, they're not all like that. Unfortunately, I am friends with some of these guys, but I learned not to do that. You have to realize, men, you don't need to be doing stuff like this. This is not helpful to you as a man growing up to be a man. And a man is not a person who takes control of everything. Not at all. Because with every king, there is a queen. You cannot run a kingdom without a king and a queen. Your queen is your backbone. Your queen is going to be able, a real queen, a real partner, a real woman will tell you when you are wrong. Believe it or not. Because the one that says nothing is no help to you. And that goes also the other way around. You have to realize that the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with should know you inside and out and is there to help you, not to hinder you. There's some people too dealing with long-term relationships. That's not easy. That is not easy. From past experience, it's not easy. But are you willing to take that journey? Are you willing to do those long texts? Are you willing to FaceTime? Are you willing to take flights to see that person, made it need be? It's not easy, especially myself in the past doing that, but also just coming back from the army and the military. Man, let me tell you, man, being in the army is a whole new life experience because you see people whose faithfulness and will is putting to the test daily. I've met people that have been, I met a guy Went to the military. First day I met him, the man was crying to me. We had lights out. Came up to me literally because I told everybody that day, hey, my name is Diamond. I'm such and such. If you ever need somebody to talk to me, because sometimes that's what all people need sometimes. And then we built a relationship, a friendship from that point forward. And this man, I remember the first night came to me crying because he told me the job I have, I just got married and I won't be seeing my wife for a year. To get married to someone the week before you leave and then you won't be seeing her for a year. That truly is a testament to faithfulness and will. And thankfully, these people are still going strong. I mean, when you think about that, if you put someone else in that situation, they'll be laughing at you right now. So you mean I'm getting married and I ain't gonna see this person for a year? As they say in New York, forget about it. But no. If you wanna make it work, you make it work. People, I mean, it's really not hard. It's mentally you saying, I'm gonna make this work and I'm gonna do this. Because I know the end result is gonna be greater. And I know that short term does not equal into long term. I'd rather have a long term plan than a short term plan. You know, and another thing that comes involved, bringing it back to the issue of money, monetary, especially relationships. That is one of the biggest killers as well, besides, you know, the insecurities with social media. The biggest thing, too, is, you know, money. When it comes to money, that can kill a relationship. Especially when somebody's like, how much money you got? What you doing with this money? Why is this money here? How much money? It's just like, it's not a joke. People have to understand is that when you get into a relationship, and if you choose to, then this is a person you want to marry. This is a person you want to be with for the rest of your life. You have to realize is that it's not so much what's mine is yours. What's mine is what I had already. What's yours is what you have. But let's build together to create something else. Because I've seen people, man, I heard stories, especially in the military, man. These stories I've heard are crazy. A man having $10,000, $15,000 is in his account, sharing with his wife. Something doesn't work out, and he comes home to nothing. Absolutely zilch. I've known people whose jobs were infantry. That means front of the line. That means when you come home, your primary job, if you get a job, is security. Yes, people. For people who don't know, especially a person in the military, a lot of people I know in infantry, when they come home, there are no other skills. And what do you become? A security guard. So what did I do? I said, no. I'm going to become a cook. Because in New York City, that makes a whole lot of money. But also the greatest thing is that the woman that I'm with, she's not worried about so much how much I make. She's worried about my health. She's worried about knowing that I have my money set up for myself. She has her money set up for herself. And that she's secure with herself as well as I'm secure with my own. Because you have to realize is that, especially when you're building for a future, especially if you're building for kids, that's a whole lot of money. But I tell you this, 2 is better than 1. 2 people in a relationship is better than 1. And don't get me wrong, I've seen a lot of people, met a lot of people in my life who've had single parent households and they still make it out. Because as a parent, you have no excuse. As a parent, you are not just there also too, when it comes to money and families, you have to realize too, I've heard this from other people as a kid, when the parents would tell you, I put a roof over your head, and I put food on the table, I put clothes on your back, I give you money, but did you also forget, communication with that child? Did you forget to tell that child you love them? Did you forget to see how their day was? Did you go to that basketball game? Did you go to that, recital? Did you? Because it takes a lot more. So you have to realize in relationships, it's a culmination of things. When you are younger, you go on dates with people. You're picking apart things you like and you don't like. And if you had a lot of dates throughout your life, granted, those are great building blocks because you have to use them as life lessons. Don't just use it as a temporary phase. Say, hey, I dated this person here. Boom. I'm a lot older now. I'm 17 when I was dating. I'm now 27 and my mind is clear. My mind is open to more. The comedian Gary Owen from the Gary Owen podcast, to Get Some, over there in Ohio, he said when he found his wife, he said the one thing I loved about it was what she loved me. Me for me. She didn't love me because I was a comedian. She loved me for who I was, who I am, who I want to be. It's a beautiful thing to have someone just love you for the person that you are. It truly is. And I hope at least with this knowledge of the relationships, it can give you further guidance and further advice and further solutions to your problems, because being in a relationship for me, is a blessing. You get to learn about someone else. You get to travel with someone else. You get to explore. You get to try new things. I love going to the movies with my partner, laughing, joking. We can go to a club. We can go to a movie. We can go to a dance event. And let me tell you, people, nowadays, when it comes to this dance scene, man, for those who don't know, that whole bachata, salsa stuff is really starting to get more mainstream. A few of my friends have been on these TV shows. Like I said before in the beginning of the podcast, this new movie, Shine, people, please, you need to go see this movie. I know it's playing out in Kips Bay in the Bronx, some other movie theaters as well. I'll be posting links to that. But this movie here, man, it gives homage, it pays recognition, it gives ode to the excitement, to the passion, to the joy of dancing. Salsa, bachata, it has some of New York's most amazing Latin dancers. Some of them that I've seen, some of them that I perform with personally. It also includes scenes with these young children. I need you to look out for Chanel Roman, a young girl from the Bronx, as well as who else? Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, my God. Ariana Alexa, a.k.a. the Blue-Eyed Salsetta. This girl, dynamite dancer. Her and her family are awesome. I had a clothing line back a few years back called D-Boy. Still have it. DEEBOINYC. D-Boy NYC. And it was a brand I created. It, and the acronym for it means determination, elevation, evolution, balance, originality, inspiration. Something that we can all live by. And the beauty of having this girl say, I want to wear your shirt for this movie. And I was speechless, because to have a vision to create something and to now know that, a young child was able to have their dreams come true, be in a film that's being shown, throughout the U.S. and have my stuff being premiered there, it means a lot. Because first, it means that kid believed in what I was doing. And second, to see the very world that I was a part of now being broadcasted mainstream. That is a beautiful thing. It's Also, too, people have to realize with dancing, oh man, that is a big plus in a socialization for those, especially with those who get a little weary on things like relationships. Hey, if you're just a person who's kind of worried on just being social, if you're worried about, hey, I just want to become a social butterfly, I want to be able to meet new people, try new things. People, this is the Latin dance scene that we have in New York City, especially, is beautiful. I mean, it really is something else. I've met hundreds of people here from all walks of life, doctors, lawyers, veterinarians. I've met CEOs of companies, like, who just come after work, want to get a dance in. That's really something different, because sometimes people get clustered into thinking, hey, this thing right here is just for our demographic. Because years ago, people used to think that Latin dance was just for Latin. No. Oh, fun fact. Did you know that the Black Power Ranger, yes, the Black Power Ranger from the old school Power Rangers is actually a salsa dancer? If you didn't know that. A lot of people don't know. I met this man in LA Congress 2003, maybe 4. I know it was at LA Congress. It was near Staples Center. I remember meeting that guy. And I was like, wow. For a young kid to meet that dude and say, man, he's a dancer? There's little things like that. I mean, it boggles your mind, and it's like, you see this world is growing more and more. You're starting to see it in TV shows. You're starting, like some of my friends, 2 of my friends, Desiree Godsell, Edwin Rivera, were on the show Made. For those who don't know, teaching when they had those salsa dance episodes. Yeah, this thing is becoming something else, and I want people to understand, like, hey, this is a growing community. Support it, love it, like I do, And before we go, I really want to give some shout outs to the Bachata twins. These guys, some bachata dancers, twins, from the Bronx. These guys are amazing. I need you to go follow them at Bachata Twins, Bacha Twins, on Instagram, as well as my boy Davin Wilson. I think he used to be on the show iCarly. He's a videographer. He dances bachata over there down in the Texas area, down south. You need to go check this man out at Davin Wilson, Daven Wilson, at Davin Wilson on Instagram, as well as my friend Brianna Jones. This girl came all the way from Washington to come to New York and make it in the dance world, and she's doing that. You can catch her at the St. Louis Congress, Salsa Bachata Congress, St. Louis, this weekend. And also, too, I really want to give a shout out to my friend, a person I consider a friend, Adora Lynn. This woman here, she was just in the Made for Now video for Janet Jackson, as well as my friend Jessica Lambden, amazing Zouk dancers. For also people that know the style of dance, Zouk, Brazilian Zouk from Brazil, derived from Brazil, and has really made its way globally. These people deserve these shout outs, as well as people also a big scene now is becoming is New Orleans. New Orleans is huge. For people who don't know, you need to go to New Orleans, whether it's to party, to have fun, to learn about art and etc. You need to go to New Orleans. And out there, that Latin scene out there is growing and growing. I've had the honor and pleasure to film out there. People, it's amazing. And I want to give a shout out to Nola Flow, Bianca San Martin out there. She's doing it big. They have the first Latin dance marching group. So these people, they're their own little group. They dance bachata, salsa, merengue, etc. When they have these big old New Orleans parades, and it's a huge honor. It's amazing. People here, besides giving you advice on these relationships, I'm giving you a look into the world that I'm a part of and showing you how it compares because the same stuff we go through in our life, these people in this dance world. Because you also have to realize in the dance world, for these men out there, if you want to know the ratio to men to women, it's about 4-1. So that means for every one guy, there is 4 women. So you have to realize when it comes to social skills, you need to get it up there. Men, stop saying yo. How about saying hello? And ladies, do not fall for these players, as you call them. You know better. Do better. You know, it's not hard. You have to understand that life is going to give you obstacles. It is up to you if you can get over those obstacles. Don't allow it to break you. Allow it to make you. You know, so here at Downtown with D, like I said, when it gets real fast. And as the first episode to really hit you with, you know, paying homage to those with the shout outs and giving you some advice on relationships, it's only going to get deeper. It's only going to get better. You know, I definitely had an amazing time speaking to you all. You know, please send me any feedback you like. You can check me out on Instagram, Facebook, Diamond Rivera. Diamond Rivera Films as well will be having a Instagram for Downtown with D. So please, people, if you send me any feedback, comments, I will also be on YouTube very soon. You know, I definitely had an amazing journey with you guys here. And I thank you all, and I thank you, Eli. Yo. Yes. And, you know, definitely look out for episode 2. More information to come. And you're tuning into the Downtown with D at the Gotham Podcast Studio. Peace.